grab your coffee, grab your tea, grab your Hennessy, grab your chips, grab your popcorn, grab something because the girls are fighting. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Before we get into it, I want to give a huge shout out to my old faithfuls. Thank you so much for all of the support over the years. I want to give a huge shout out to my channel members. Thank you for the extra support that you provide to my channel every month. I want to welcome the newbies to the channel. Thank you for clicking that subscribe button. And if you've come across this video and are not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and click that subscribe button. I'd be happy to have you. Bitch. Now every now and then we poke our little heads in to the civil war that's going on between MAGA, right? Well, there's a war, a real bloodshed war happening between MAGA Candace Owens and MAGA Laura Loomer. Now this battle has been happening back and forth mildly over on Twitter for the past few weeks. They'll take a pot shot here, they'll take a pot shot there, because you know Candace is staunchly against Israel. She believes that Israel is behind Charlie Kirk's death. And Candace has been using her platform to dig into what happened with Charlie Kirk. And that has transferred into a real dislike for Charlie Kirk's wife, because something is just not right with Erica Kirk and her ties to Israel and Turning Point USA. I'm not saying that I believe all of the stuff that Candace Owens comes up with, because yes, I do poke my head into her channel to catch up on the latest with the investigation into Charlie Kirk and Turning Point USA and Erica Kirk. Okay? And she come with some way out of left field stuff, and I be like, girl, you lying. Girl, I don't believe that. But then sometimes I'm like, yeah, what's the story behind that? Especially when she's focused in on Erica Kirk and her shenanigans. Okay, so Laura Loomer is pro-Israel, right? She's pro this war with Iran. A lot of people believe that Laura Loomer, myself included, has a direct line to Donald Trump, and she has had some influence with this Iran war because of her connection to Donald Trump. I personally believe that there is more going on between her and Donald Trump. And yes, in my opinion, it is my belief that Laura Loomer is giving sexual favors to Donald Trump to influence him. I believe Laura Loomer is an Israel honeypot when it comes to Donald Trump. That's my belief. That's my opinion. I don't have any facts to back that up. It's just me on the outside looking in, and that's what my brain has taken me to. Laura Loomer is doing some things with Donald Trump. Anywho, back to Laura Loomer and Candace Owens. And so because of these dynamics, they have been taking pot shots at each other over there on Twitter. Well, these past few days, those pot shots have escalated. They are now taking these pot shots into deep dives into each other and presenting those deep dives and those pot shots to their followers by way of their podcast. And it is getting ugly. And I got some clips. Let's watch them, shall we?
And for some reason, there's a lot of people that are really afraid of this nappy-headed black bitch who just has a lot to say, but not really a lot to offer. So I'm not afraid of Candace Owens, and I'm happy to match her energy. I'm happy to wrestle in the mud with that bitch. And, you know, roll around and hurl insults back and forth with her if that's what she wants to do. I'm not afraid of Candace Owens. There's really honestly nothing that this woman can do to me. There's nothing that Candace Owens can say about me that's going to harm me. Candace Owens is a liar, okay? And she's a deeply insecure woman who is very unloved at the end of the day. This is a woman who is allegedly in a relationship with a gay man who is always going to feel the rejection of her family, the rejection of her mother, the rejection of her family that she claims left her alone when she was 14 years old, right, to fend for herself. This is a girl whose parents gave up on her at a very young age, and she is not loved. And as I said, God hates you, Candace. God hates you. Your husband hates you. Humanity hates you. Everybody who loved Charlie Kirk hates you. Your children are 100% going to hate you. And if what Milo is saying about your husband allegedly getting plunged in the ass by other men is true, your husband, the person that you're supposed to grow old and died with, hates you, Candace. So just, there's one thing that you need to do, Candace. You need to just internalize how hated you are, okay? Just understand how much oxygen you're stealing and what a shame it is, how much oxygen you are robbing from this planet. I think there needs to be like a quota on the oxygen that Candace is allowed to consume. Just understand how hated you are. I just want you to internalize every single time you do your show and you think that you are, spreading your truth, just internalize how hated you are, Candace, and just know that you are truly irredeemable. Nothing you say or do is ever going to be able to redeem your dark soul. Candace Owens is just this one resentful, ghetto black bitch. Like, that's literally what she is. She's a racist too. Like, you could listen to this, and I'm not a racist person, right? Like, I don't hate black people, but I say she's a ghetto black bitch because you have to listen to the way that she has so much resentment for white girls, like white girls with blonde hair and blue eyes. And I'm originally a blonde too. I have blonde hair and blue eyes, right? Maybe that's why Candace has so much resentment towards me. But listen to the way that she describes how traumatizing it was for her to go on a play date as a young black girl in Connecticut at the home of a wealthy white blonde girl with blue eyes. And she really sees Erica Kirk as that white blonde girl that got everything that she wanted while her mommy and daddy didn't love her. Mommy and daddy didn't love me, and I was jealous of the white blonde girl growing up who had mommy and daddy, so now I'm going to dedicate my life to destroying every pretty white blonde girl that has a happy family, because I don't have a happy family. I don't have a happy family, and my husband is allegedly getting his ass plunged by Milo Yiannopoulos, so I'm going to destroy everything that I've wanted to destroy since I was a young little black girl whose parents didn't love.
I don't know if you could see the little comment. It was kind of like watermarked on the video. The comment basically said that, and these are the people that Candace Owens tried to get black people to unify with. These are the vile, vitriolic, hateful, racist people that Candace Owens tried to get black people to unify with. She wanted us to get off of the Democrat plantation to unify with the likes of the party that embraces Laura Loomer. The unmitigated gall she has to say she's not racist. What? You just like to use racist stereotypes and tropes. That's what it is, Laura Loomer. Girl, you are racist. I find it funny that she didn't mention what it is that Milo Yiannopoulos has said about Laura Loomer. She talks about what Milo said about Candace Owens' husband, but she didn't say one peep about what Milo Yiannopoulos said about her. I think Milo was the first person that went public because he was working. Y'all know Laura Loomer ran for office down in Florida. I think twice. She lost both times. And Milo worked with her on her campaign. Which campaign? I'm not sure. And Milo came out and publicly said that Laura Loomer sexually harasses young boys. She didn't mention anything about what Milo had to say about her. Anywho, Candace Owens is not going to let that slide, right? So Candace Owens took to her podcast, and this is what she had to say about Laura Loomer. And I'm going to speed it up because it's 7 minutes long. Yeah, we ain't got time for that.
Anyway, on to greener pastures. I guess greener pastures. Laura Loomer is trending for a tweet that she directed to me yesterday that upsets a lot of people. It upset them because it was just so shockingly dark and demonic. This is the tweet that I am referring to. That's trending. It's directed to me after yesterday's episode. She said, "God hates you," at Real Candace O. It's why he gave Charlie to Erica and why you didn't even get to say goodbye to him. God hates you. Look in the mirror and internalize how much God hates you. We all hate you. Humanity hates you. And you are irredeemable. And this caused a reaction across the internet. I think like 6,000 people replied to that tweet alone in a ratio. And I think I was going, why are people surprised by this? And I realized they don't know who Laura Loomer is. And I think maybe these people don't take us literally when we say that Trump, that's one of his top advisors, is surrounded by people who are quite literally in need of an exorcism. I'm not saying that for dramatic effect. I am saying literally he is surrounding himself with people that are, I think, demonstrably demonic, right? Like that's what people were so like, that's just demonic. That's very straight. It doesn't hurt anybody's feelings. It makes me uncomfortable to be around you. That seems like you worship Baal. That's why you would say something like that. That's a very weird thing to say. And that's kind of what I'm trying to clue you guys into. That is why Laura Loomer has become significant, because we can look at her to understand the erraticism of Donald Trump, our president. He doesn't seem like the same person. He seems as though he has been possessed. That's his top advisor. According to her, multiple times a day, she speaks to him on the phone. One of the first phone calls he made after attacking Iran was to Laura Loomer. And so it was important for me to break down who she is and to make sure that you lower your expectations when it comes to people like her. Like I said, her goal is to harm people psychologically by lying, just by lying openly all the time. And I want you to know that in her own words, she has admitted to her addiction, which she has described as cocaine-like, to Spectator, because she'll say, oh, it doesn't matter, this is this person's life. Take Laura in her own words. In an article that was done by the Spectator here, which was called The Tale of Laura Loomer, which was published in 2019, where she described having anxiety and depression. She wrote, I had really bad anxiety and depression, and then I started to basically deal with depression by doing cocaine. I was never a drug user before, but I was using cocaine to kind of deal with it. Laura was 23 years old. She continues, there were phases when I wouldn't sleep for 3 days straight, and one morning I woke up and drove myself to a cliff, and it was cold and kind of snowy outside. It was February. I tried to kill myself, like legitimately tried to kill myself, okay? So you can understand why she's not allowed to own guns. Suicide is nothing to mock, but it is something that she uses as one of her tools often. Like I told you yesterday, she makes suicidal threats, and there is an aspect of her that feels very homicidal. I'm not being funny. I'm not trying to be ironic when I say that this is a person who should not have access to the President of the United States. And everybody sees that. And the fact that people reflect and think, if something happened to Trump, like I told you, people in, as I understand it, Melania's inner circle have said this, that she would be the most likely person to harm Donald Trump. And what would be crazy in the retrospect is that the whole world would go, yeah, duh. Like if she harmed a person, everyone would look around and go, every single sign was there. 50 states you can't own a gun in, things that you have said and shared about yourself, threats that you have made to other people, the manner in which you attack children. Like she wants my children to suffer, as she said yesterday. She wants my children to suffer and live on the streets because she doesn't like that I'm against what Israel is doing. She's attacking my lawyers. She's attacking my in-laws. That is the kind of person who is dangerous to themselves and to others. And so how did she deal with her cocaine addiction? If you're wondering why it seems like she tweets every 5 minutes and like she's deep in the throes of a manic episode, well, she explains in this article, I have nothing to lose now. And by the way, this is in the context of her having lost her Twitter access. This is, I have nothing to lose now, so it's liberating, she says. I became addicted to social media. I kind of lived off of the adrenaline. It's not a very healthy lifestyle to live because when you stop using cocaine, for example, you learn to cope with anxiety and depression in other ways. I pretty much substituted my lows for adrenaline rushes on Twitter. When I got banned, I was honestly having withdrawals. Okay, so it's a drug for her. Like Twitter is a drug for her, and that's why she tweets to the wee hours of the morning saying crazy things, spiraling in these manic episodes. And so I just want to make that clear to you. These are the people. When you look at what Donald Trump is saying, what he's doing, and why he just does not seem like he is steady right now, like he does not seem like there is a sane voice. He went from having the advice of people like Charlie Kirk and radically flipped that to people like Laura Loomer and Paula White Cain. Okay, this is a real clip of Laura Loomer when she did Alex Jones a few years ago. Take a listen.
But what are they doing? I want to know what people are actually going to do. My life is ruined. Does anybody understand how ruined my life is? I'm sick of it. I don't want to listen to people tell me that I'm a conspiracy theorist. They don't know what it's like to be me. My life is ruined, Alex.
So forget Laura Loomer. The question you should be asking yourself is Donald Trump mentally fit to be president? If he makes a conscious decision to tweet out that Tucker Carlson and Megyn Kelly and Candace Owens are mentally ill, while he invites into his inner circle advice about what he should do to Iran, a person like Laura Loomer, who, when we're calling her crazy and we're talking, this is a clinical diagnosis. It's not an opinion. It's not funny. We're not using the word loosely. This is a clinical diagnosis. I personally think that Trump needs intervention. I don't think the back forth, when I see the erraticism of the way he tweets, it's almost as if he's given access to his truth socials to people like her. There's an erraticism here that feels dangerous for our country, right? Like he doesn't care anymore, that he's gotten to some point of desperation, whether he is functioning under duress, whether he is being blackmailed, I don't know. What I do know is this is not the Trump that we had for the first 4 years. And even if you have hated him from the very beginning, if you love the idea that the Republican Party is at war with each other, if you're still functioning within the left-right paradigm, you should pull yourself away and actually have a broader sense of concern for the country and want there to be actually intervention. You should pray for Donald Trump. You should want there to be a sane voice in the room. And at the moment, we're not getting that. So that's what I just wanted to say is don't be surprised at what Laura Loomer is doing. Be surprised that she has the ear of the President of the United States.
I knew she couldn't just stay on sane lane. I knew she was going to have to venture into conspiracy theory world. Donald Trump is not possessed. Now, I do believe he could be under Laura Loomer's spell if she's tickling his little fancy. the way that I believe she's tickling his little fancy, right? That could be possible, but like true possession, no. The reason why he seems so different to you all is because in his first presidency, he didn't do anything to harm MAGA nuts. He didn't do all of what he promised, but what he did not do was implement policy that was going to harm MAGA nuts. In the second presidency, he has been doing that. The things that he has implemented are harming the MAGA nuts. And being that they are being harmed, they are waking up, right? Myself and several other content creators out there were trying to warn people, because the one thing that people were consistently saying was that we survived the first Trump presidency, we will survive the second presidency. And I did videos saying, no. The reason why Donald Trump's first presidency doesn't seem so bad to you all is because the people that were around Donald Trump, they focused on doing what was right by law and by the Constitution. They kept him in check. So that's why it didn't seem so bad. But you see, he already had one presidency. During that presidency, he learned how this system works, right? And then what ended up happening with all that he and people like Stephen Miller learned while working in the White House during their first presidency, they went dark when Joe Biden was put into the White House. Stephen Miller went over to the Heritage Foundation. And with all that Stephen Miller learned from Donald Trump's first presidency, they worked behind the scenes to build Project 2025. And any of us with 2 brain cells knew that if Donald Trump got a second presidency, you didn't just have to worry about Donald Trump. You needed to seriously worry about the people that was going to be around Donald Trump. Who was Donald Trump going to appoint to his cabinet? Those were the people that you were also going to have to worry about. You all over in MAGA world were blinded. Y'all were just excited that y'all got y'all master back in the office. All of what's happening now, the severity of this situation, it is not surprising to me because I read Project 2025. I listened to the experts out there who also read Project 2025. I attended lives of people who were going over Project 2025 and giving their opinion on things. I did lives about Project 2025 to give my opinion. I did a whole series talking about Project 47, which derives from Project 2025. So yeah, Candace, he's not possessed. He just put a whole different crew around him this time around who is just as diabolical as he is, and they don't give a shit about you and everybody else over in MAGA. They don't give a shit about the American people. They are in there to enrich themselves, period. But yeah, I do believe he's influenced by Laura Loomer. Ew, she nasty. I don't know what type of sexual favor she is doing, which I truly believe she is doing. But yeah, she got Donald Trump's nose wide open. She is Donald Trump's honeypot. Anywho, we'll see what color the wall is going to be next when it comes to these two. Y'all let me know your thoughts down below. Candace, she called you a nappy-headed black girl. She called you a ghetto black bitch. What you coming back with? Because, yeah, I picked up on the little pot shots, but baby, you need to dig deeper than that. Anywho, I'll see y'all later.